Okay, so we are now starting a very brand new series, and this is a series on midot and character improvement and self-improvement, and I think that this is going to be a very meaningful series. So we're going to see how long it takes us. It might take us an entire year, it might take us less, it might take us more, and I think it's really very appropriate that we're starting the series during the 3 weeks, during the Ben HaMetzarim. And I really want to take this workshop, to take this series from the place of the 3 weeks and from this time period that we're in. Today's topic is going to be Sinat Chinam. Okay? Today's topic is going to be hating one another, and the way that Chazal used this term is that to hate someone for no reason. Okay, Sinat Chinam, it means for free. Meaning that there isn't any good reason. So what is the source of this idea? The source of this terminology of Sinat Chinam is from the Gemara in Yoma Daf Tet, that it says that the first Beis Hamikdash was destroyed because we had 3 sins among us. We had idolatry, we had murder, we had sexual immorality, and the second Beis Hamikdash. So actually, that was not the case. The second Beis Hamikdash, that we were not murdering people, we were not having affairs, we were not we're worshiping idols. So why was the second temple destroyed? Because of Sinat Chinam. Okay, so and the second destruction. This is what we're still suffering from today. Okay, meaning that the fact that we don't have a Beis Hamikdash right now, this is a result of the fact that the second Beis Hamikdash was destroyed, and the second Beis Hamikdash was destroyed as a result of Sinat Chinam. So, if you want to point to one problem, that what is the reason why we are not being redeemed right now? What is the reason why we are still in Galut? So that all eyes look at Sinat Chinam. So, Sinat Chinam is the reason that we are still in this suffering through everything that the exile entails. So I think it's really necessary. It's really incumbent upon us that we should really look into this, and how can we, at least for ourselves, we can try to eradicate this horrible midah from ourselves. And B'ezrat Hashem, it'll have a ripple effect. And B'ezrat Hashem, that this video will get millions and billions of views, and maybe it could happen. And just the more that we talk about this, the better the world is going to be. So B'ezrat Hashem, that this should be a part of our trying to end this galut, a part of our effort to make the world into a better place, and to start with ourselves. B'ezrat Hashem. So there's an interesting thing I want to start with, that we've given classes. You can look on the channel. We have classes about the spiritual energies of the different months. This is based on the book called Sefer Yetzirah. The Sefer Yetzirah was a book attributed to Avram Avinu, that there's a different trait which is attributed to every month. And so these 2 months of Tammuz and Av, so according to Sefer Yetzirah, Tammuz is connected to the midah of sight, and Av is connected to the midah of hearing. So this is the tribes are also, the tribe of Tammuz is Reuven, which is Re'u, about sight, and the tribe which is connected to Av is Shimon, which is about Shmiya. So if we take this in the perspective of Sinat Chinam, so we'll notice that Sinat Chinam actually has 2 parts to it. Okay, there's 2 stages, and there's a lot of midot like this. But there's 2 stages to the sinat. There's 2 stages to the hatred, and one is that when I hate somebody. So first of all, it starts from the way that I look at them, i.e., the way I perceive them. Right. So it starts with the re'iyah, and then there's a result that because I look at them with this negativity, so then it messes with the way I treat them. Okay, and that's with the Shmiya, that represents communication. Shmiya represents that the actual relationship, like when we interact, meaning that Riyah is just like the way I deal with him between me and myself, and Shmiya is already when we're having a conversation, or a shouting match, or a duel with however level of aggression it's going to be. But the Shmiya is all about the interaction actually. Okay, so there's two different levels of Sinat Chinam that we need to analyze and work on individually, And so the first is about that how I feel within myself, the way I perceive the people around me, that I'm going to perceive them with the perception of hatred, and then a second stage is how I'm going to deal with them. Okay, and it's really, if you think about it, it's actually two different characteristics. It's two different things that I need to work on. First of all is that I need to look at the world a certain way, and then I need to treat the world a certain way. And there's different energies, there's different tactics, there's different techniques that I'm going to be using with the different parts. And the truth is that this is very much the difference between Shivas Tammuz and Tisha B'Av. Okay? That the Mishnah says at the end of Tainus that it compares what happened on Shivas Tammuz to what happened on Tisha B'Av. And so it says like this, that on Shivas Tammuz, that one thing that happened was that Moshe Rabbeinu broke the tablets. And Tisha B'Av, so it was decreed upon us that we wouldn't come into the land of Israel. And Shivas Tammuz was the beginning of the end. It was the first day that we weren't able to bring a sacrifice. The Butal HaTamid, and Tisha B'Av is the day that Beis Mikdash was actually burnt. It was actually destroyed, and Shivas Tammuz was the beginning of the siege, and Tisha B'Av was the day that it was the entire city was just completely plowed through. It was completely destroyed. So you notice a theme here, that Shivas Tammuz is the beginning of the end, and Tisha B'Av is the actual obliteration. Okay, so meaning that the beginning of the siege is actually when the attack on Jerusalem really started, and that's what we're acknowledging on Shivas Tammuz, and Tisha B'Av is really, we're acknowledging the fact that it was over. Okay, so in a certain sense, which was actually a more meaningful day? The truth is that from the time that the siege began, so it was really the beginning of the end. Like if you like the end, the destruction, the burning of the temple was actually in a sense inevitable once the siege began. Once there was no more carbon tamid, once there was no more carbonot. So then, like, it was already the end was already there. It was already just like being played out. But the Shivas Tammuz is the thing that sets the tone for destruction. Once we had even in the first thing that Moshe Rabbeinu broke the tablets. So it was a certain rift between us and Hashem, but He was willing to forgive us. It was only that with the Chedim Raglim that it was like, that's it. Your guys are not going to come. That was the destruction. So if we take that back into Sinat Chinam, so Tammuz, which represents the Re'iyah, which represents the way we look at things, so that's actually the most crucial part of the break. Meaning that until Shivas Tammuz, everything was amazing. Everything was beautiful. Everything that we had a Beis Mikdash, and it's really the thing that messed with that beauty, the thing that messed with that completion, was actually the Re'iyah. It was actually the Histaklut. Was actually our perception of the world. And once your perception of the world is messed up, so then it's inevitable that you're going to kill them. It's inevitable that you're going to do bad things to them. That the shmiyah, that the communication. Of course, if you hate their guts in your mind, so of course that your shmiyah is going to be messed up. Of course, your relationship is going to be messed up. So the truth is that it's even more critical.
Just make sure I got this. It's like Re'iyah is more like your own subjective way of looking at things.
My perception of things.
Right, and Shmiyah is the actual reality.
Is the actual relationship. Is the actual communication.
So it's something like, it's outside of yourself. It's already the
perception, manifestation.
Right, exactly.
Yes. Yes, exactly. Okay. So this is really when we're talking about the first element of Sinat Chinam. This is the element of Tammuz of Sinat Chinam, is that the way I perceive the people around me. Okay. So let's try to figure out what is this midah of Sinah, and how do I use this midah how do I use my perception in a positive way, which is not going to be a midah of Sinah, and how would I use it in a negative way? So let's define. What is the definition of Sinah? And then we'll get to what's Sinat Chinam. So sinah means hatred, right? But what does hatred mean? what does hatred mean? So that when you think of it, like, what does it mean to hate somebody? It means that you detest them. It means that you are repulsed by them. It means that you don't want to be around them. Okay, so it's different than anger. Anger is that, like, that I want to hurt you, that I feel a desire to do something to, that I feel like I want to attack, and that when I feel hatred, so it's quite the opposite. I don't want to attack you, like, because I just need to stay away from you, and that's why sinah is the opposite of ahava. What is ahava? Ahava is love. The feeling of love to something or someone is the desire to connect. Okay, so ahava is the desire to connect, is the feeling of a desire to connect, and sinah is the desire to separate. Okay, the desire to be far away from this person or thing. Okay, so now that we've defined it, that's what sinah is. So let's define what are the different reasons why I might have sinah. What are the different reasons why people hate different things, and then we'll be able to understand what exactly is sinat chinam and what is sinah which is not b'chinam. Okay, so I would like to divide the reason why we hate people into 4 different categories. Okay, and then we'll decide which ones are okay, which ones are not okay, which ones we need to work on, which ones the Torah is telling us that this is something that needs to be dealt with. Okay, so reason number one, that the reason why we hate the people around us is because we think that we are better than them. Okay, now it doesn't seem to make so much sense. Why should we hate somebody because we think they're better than them? Okay. Well, first of all, like, what's an example of such a thing? Racism. Racism is certainly an example of such a thing. That people hate somebody because of whatever that like, I think that like we take like the Nazi version, that the Aryan race is the best race, and so anything which is not Aryan race is less good, and because they're less good, so then that brings me to hate them, and that brings me to want to kill them, right? So that's already in the Av, that's already in the Tisha B'Av. But in the first stage, so because I feel better than them, so that's a reason why I want to be distanced from them. I want to put them into ghettos. I'm going to put them into. Okay, so now this doesn't make any sense. It doesn't make any sense. So what is actually? How does a person in their subconscious or their conscious? How does a person justify the fact that they hate somebody that they think that they're better than them? So it's because I feel that they are somehow a threat to me. Okay? Because I feel that I'm better than them. I feel that I need to separate myself from them, because that if they're going to be close to me, then maybe they're going to make themselves better than me. And that's not true, because I'm better than them. So I need to prove to the world that I'm actually better than them. So that's why I need to hate them. That's why I need to put them in their place. I need to detach myself from them. So this is true. The Gemara talks about as a negative thing that there's the sin'ah, that there's a hatred that Talmidei Chachamim have to Amaratzim. It says that the Torah scholars hate Amaratzim. They hate the common folk, that the ignorant, and that's why it says that a person that was a Talmid Chacham and then became irreligious. So the Gemara says that they have the greatest hatred. They have the greatest hatred towards the Talmid Chachamim. And so Rashi says why? Because he remembers when he was a Talmid Chacham how much he hated the Amaratzim, how much he hated the ignorant people. So I would like to add that that's the kind of Talmid Chacham that goes off the derech. The kind of Talmid Chacham that looked down at the people that didn't know as much as him. So he was already a little bit twisted from the offset. Okay, so where does it come from? Why would a Talmid Chacham look down? Why would a Torah scholar look down on a person who's ignorant? For the same reason, because he thinks that I'm better than you. Thinks that because I know more than you, so therefore I deserve to be at a higher hierarchy, in a higher status, and I'm scared that what if what if the Emiratim are going to take over? What if they're going to somehow take over the world and then we're going to lose our power? And so I look at them as a threat. Okay, I look at them as a threat. Okay, and a more like a less severe, in a less severe way. So there's a hatred between different groups, between different sects. Let's say in Judaism. So like if I'm Satmar and you're Vishnitz, so like there's a certain hatred to the Vishnitz people because like, wait, don't you know that the Satmar Rebbe is the biggest Rebbe? Don't you know that like that where it's at is to be Satmar? Like if you, and so in any sect of Judaism, like whatever community you associate with, so naturally you're going to think that your community is the best community, and you feel a certain superiority, and because you feel a certain superiority, so you're going to look down at other communities, and because you look down at them, so you're going to hate them. Why do you hate them? Because what if they're going to think that they're better than me? What they're going to take over and so because I feel that I'm better, it really starts from the fact that I feel that I'm better than them. Okay, and a more trivial way. So this is the hatred that people have to on almost arbitrary delineations, such as like if I'm a Mets fan and you're a Yankees fan, so then I'm good. Like I think that I'm the best because I'm the Mets fan, and I think that you're inferior to me because you're a Yankees fan, Neville, and I need to hate you. It's not enough that we can't be friends. We can't be friends because if we're friends, then you might like be legitimized in the eyes of the world, and then you might actually be looked at that like Yankees is where it's at, and then I look at that as a threat. Okay, so this is the first reason. This is the first reason why we hate people around us, because we feel that we're better than them. Because we feel that we're better than them, so we're scared. We look at them as a threat. Okay, so far so good.
I have a question.
Mm-hmm.
A person who like truly thinks they're better than someone, wouldn't they? I feel like they wouldn't feel threatened by someone else. It sounds more like that person
Correct.
who thinks they're better. They actually comes from like a place of inferiority.
Correct. Now we're going to get to that.
Okay.
And does this concept also apply to like, because you mentioned like groups of like, you know, this thought school of thought or that school of thought or racism, but does this apply to like Ben Adam Chavero? Like, oh wow, you think this way, I think that way, you're a threat?
We're going to get to that as well.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. So now, reason number two. Reason number two is a little bit the opposite. That the reason why I hate you is because you're actually better than me. Okay, and this is hatred that comes from jealousy, right? So this we can all relate to. Okay, and this is like we hate somebody that is bigger than us because we would like to be there. and this is if somebody has the privileges that we think that they don't deserve, whether it's in the family, whether it's in the workplace. So whether it's a certain success that they had, whether that they got a certain promotion, whether they got a certain job, the same, whether they got married. Whatever it is, that there's a certain feeling of that. Hey, like I'm jealous of you because you're better than me, and therefore I hate you. So where does this come from? It comes from the fact that I don't like that you're getting ahead of me, and because I don't like the fact that you're getting ahead of me, so I detest you. So because I need to separate from you. I have this feeling that you repulse me because of the fact that you're ahead of me. Okay? And this is the second thing called kina. The third category.
Is that also fear of a person, or intimidated by him, or it's just the fact that
I don't think there's any fear. I mean, like, there's nothing to fear. It's already happened. It's already he is ahead of me.
right.
So I don't see it as a fear. I think it's just I don't like the fact that you're ahead of me, and I don't think it's fair. And my response to the fact that I don't like that you're ahead of me is with this detest.
So it's hatred that automatically comes from jealousy.
Mm-hmm. Now, a third reason why we hate people is because of a moral clash. Okay, and this is what Rebecca was talking about. That I hate you is not because of the relationship between us. It's not because that I think I'm scared of you. It's not because I'm jealous of you. I hate you because of what you represent. Okay, you represent a certain ideology, and you believe in a certain ideology, and that's actually what bothers me. It's actually not you. It's actually what you represent that bothers me. Okay, and so in its purest sense, in its purest form, so this is actually a kosher reason to hate somebody. Okay? This is penta. I mean, I'm not sure if it says about that he hated, but yes, absolutely. That's absolutely, and that the Gemara says that even though there's a pasuk in the Chumash that lo tisna et achecha b'levavecha, that there's a prohibition to hate somebody, but Chazal say that there is one time that you're allowed to hate somebody, and that is that you're allowed to hate a wicked person. Okay. So who is a wicked person? That needs a lot of commentary. A wicked person is a person that actually hates God. Okay, the wicked person is a person. A wicked person is not a person that makes a mistake. A wicked person is not a person that happens to that their rabbi says something different than my rabbi. A wicked person is a person that actually hates holiness and hates Judaism and hates they're really that's a moral clash. I believe in immorality.
We're talking about non-Jewish people.
What I'm saying? What's a Russia? What's the definition of a Russia? No, it doesn't matter. Jewish is not Jewish.
Israel, this sounds
even in Jew,
okay
if there's a Jew that hates God, the Jew is that that's what David Melech says. David Melech says that Mesanecha Hashem esna, that those that hate you, I will hate. So we learn from that it's permitted it's appropriate to hate a person that hates God. Okay, and that's what I mean when a person's a Russia. It doesn't mean that the person that speaks lashon hara. But most people that speak lashon hara, it's because by accident. Most people that don't keep Shabbos, it's not because they hate God. It's because it's too hard for them. It's because a person that hates God, the person who is an evil person. So that's a person that I'm hating them, not because I hate the person, not because it's not because of the relationship between me and him, not because inferiority or superiority. It's just I hate what you represent. You represent that the opposite of what this entire world is here for. The entire world is here to bring out goodness and morality and justice and holiness, and that's what you hate. That's what you hate. So you are actually the enemy of mankind. So that it's appropriate. It's the only appropriate thing is to hate such a person. Because if I think it's okay, so then that means that okay, whatever, yeah, we have holiness, yeah, we don't have holiness. The only appropriate response is to hate a person that has an intense adversity to all the goodness in the world. Okay, so that's the third thing, and so that in most cases of your question of moral clashes, so. That's not going to be a good reason because and we're going to get to how a person should fight that. And the fourth reason why we hate people is because they annoy us. Okay, it's hard to imagine. I understand, but if somebody is constantly critiquing you, somebody is constantly bumping into you, person is supposedly making snide remarks at you, so then it's natural that we're going to hate them, not because we feel superior to them, not because we feel inferior to them, not because we think that they're the enemy of mankind. It's just we just hate them because they annoy us. Okay, so of these four reasons why a person might come to sinah, to come to sinah. So let's now define what's the difference between sinat chinam and regular sinah. Okay, so sinat chinam means that for no reason, right? So in the last case, that I hate them because they annoy me. So that's not sinat chinam, right? That's not sinat chinam. Okay, so that it's not for that that the Beis Hamikdash was destroyed. Okay, it's that it's still an avera, it's still a sin to hate somebody because they annoy you. You're supposed to overcome that. You're supposed to tell yourself that I'm overcoming the fact that they annoy me, and we'll see how to overcome that feeling. But that's not why the Beis Hamikdash was destroyed. Okay, because that's not sinan chinam. Okay, in the third category, that I'm hating somebody because of the moral clash, so that's clearly not chinam. I'm hating them because of the fact that they're the enemy of mankind. That's not sinat chinam. So the sinat chinam that the Beis Hamikdash was destroyed for is the first two categories. Is the feeling of I hate somebody because I feel superior to them, therefore I look at them as a threat, and the feeling of that I feel inferior to them, and therefore I'm jealous. So now, how should we go about trying to overcome these two different responses? So these two different feelings. So first let's talk about kina. Okay, kina, jealousy. So we said before that I'm jealous of somebody because I'm jealous of them. So I look at it's not fair, and because I feel this injustice, so therefore I hate them. So it's very interesting that there's a word in Hebrew. It doesn't have a translation in English, and actually the source of the Hebrew word is actually from Yiddish. Okay, the Hebrew word is firgun. Firgun. The Yiddish is to forgive someone. Okay, I don't know if it's in German as well. That to forgive someone is to give them a compliment, even if it's at your own expense. Okay, when somebody, now what does this mean? If somebody does well and they're your competition. Could you sit down, please? So if you're in competition with somebody, so the natural response is that if someone does good, so the natural response is to, in some way, to put them down. You're not going to do it in an obvious way because that doesn't look good, but you're going to note their faults in a, like somebody was telling me what to do if somebody tells you that they're engaged to a non-Jew. So he said the only thing that you can do is that every time that they mention something negative, so just repeat it after them. And they're what? Oh, they have an anger issue. And when you don't like somebody, so it's natural to want to put them down, because the more that you put down what you don't want to promote, so then the thing you do want to promote is gonna be promoted. Right, so when somebody mentions if you're like I'm a teacher, if somebody's telling me oh, this other teacher, they have the most amazing class, and so it was so awesome. So if I want to promote myself, so I'll try to think of some way to put the other class down. Right? He said, yeah, but they don't have sour sticks, right? Do they have sour sticks? And I'll think of some way to try to put myself up, because deep down I really want to promote myself, and so the opposite to forgive someone would be that, oh my gosh, yes, I love his class. He's so amazing too. I love it. If I wish I didn't have to give my own class at that time because I wish I could go to him. And that's to forgive someone. So I think it's so beautiful that this word comes from Yiddish. It's not German, right? This is a uniquely Jewish word.
Yeah.
Amazing. Okay. So and it became Hebrew through Yiddish. This is a Jewish word. It doesn't exist in other cultures, that the concept of to forgive someone, that even though that they are my competition, to say, wow, that's awesome. If somebody is if you're talking about I don't know, everybody wants to look at themselves if they're at a gym, they're working out, and they're saying, whoa, like I just was able to do this many reps or this many pounds or whatever, like, and like so you want to look at yourself as being better than them, and like you and so you said, like, but like that doesn't count because like you're just a beginner's luck, or like it's a natural thing to want to put other people down in order to put myself up, in order that I shouldn't have to, and like lefagen is to forgive someone, is to just be happy for them, okay? And this is you want to add something?
I want to add, yes.
Yes.
So I live in Monsey where a lot of people speak Yiddish, so in trying to learn, again, so my brain says, my English speaking brain says, forgive.
Oh no.
And I've been told, exactly, it's like to let, like I let you, like I give it to you.
Uh-huh.
Oh, you're not
Yeah.
saying forgive?
Which is,
No, forgin.
Forgin.
Fargin. Forgin.
Which means, did I miss that? What is that?
That's everything. It's like there's no English word. That's what's so beautiful about it, because in English this doesn't exist. That you can talk around the bush, but there's no word for that. To just be full of light, to be full of to shower a person with brightness in the fact that they are in the spotlight, and this is and really in a very simple expression. So, like, how do you feel if you've been if you're competing with somebody, and he or she gets the gold medal? So, like, what's your are you able to give them a hug and like wish them congratulations with a full heart? If you're this is a huge thing, that the people who are in shidduchim for a long time, that and when finally their friend finally gets engaged, so like, am I full of happiness for them, or is there a little bit of a I wish it was me, and I can't really be totally happy for them because I'm just full of my own sorrow, and so that's the opposite of to forget someone. To forget someone is to forget about myself, and to say that like the only thing that matters right now is that I'm happy for you. The only thing that like, there's a joke that like older singles do. Their favorite outing is their favorite thing to do is to go to funerals, because it's the only time the people don't say Ymirtz Hashem Bayu, soon Bayu. They go to a wedding, it's also soon Bayu. They go to a bris, it's soon Bayu. They go to the bar mitzvah, soon Bayu. Everybody always finds an excuse to remind them that I'm still single, except like finally I'm at a funeral. Nobody's going to say so. So there's this feeling of I'm full of myself and I'm full of my misery, and the only thing that matters here is my misery, and so because the only thing that matters is my misery, so I can't really be happy for you, and so this is an important. Now, even a person that doesn't have any particular sorrow in their lives, but it's something that doesn't always come so easily, that to be able to be happy for somebody, because every time that somebody has something happy, so I didn't have that something happy, right? There's always the element. There's always there's always the element that your son had a bar mitzvah, my son didn't have a bar mitzvah. I don't even have a son. Whatever it is, whatever happens to you, you just got a birthday present. Like, I didn't have a birthday present. Like, to be able to be happy for somebody, that even though that I didn't get that thing, so that is this midah of to forget someone, which is the complete opposite of kina. Okay. What is the source of these two perspectives, these two ways of responding to the fact that somebody has it good? Okay. So the truth is that a person that isn't able to forget someone, so the reason why it's hard for them is because they don't realize that I have a lot of value. They don't look at themselves. They look at themselves as second class, because they, like, if we take the older singles, so they're constantly basking in their sorrow. They're constantly looking at themselves that I am a failure, and they show up to life as a failure. So whenever whenever somebody else proves that they are a success, so they say, "Oh no, you're a success, and I'm a failure. I can't deal with that." But if I would look at myself as a success, so then the fact that you're a success is not going to scare me. It's not going to make me feel like I can't be completely happy for you. So really, the reason why I have kina is actually because I don't really value myself. Really, I look at myself as inferior. So really, the source of everything is this built-in inferiority complex. And so the way to switch my kina, the way to switch once again, the context over here is that the reason why we hate people, one of the reasons why we hate people is because we look at ourselves as inferior. And the opposite of looking at ourselves as inferior and therefore having jealousy, the opposite response is to forgive someone, is to say that I'm just happy with you, with your success. I'm happy with you. I'm so happy that you, some people if you show me your $1 billion house, so I won't be able to be really genuinely happy for you because I'm thinking, whoa, I'll constantly be thinking about my rundown, dirty, whatever, if I value myself, if I look at myself as a failure because of my house, so then when I see your house, it's going to make my looking at myself as a failure very much accentuated. But if I really feel great about myself, if I really think that I am a success in life and I have a happy life, and so then I don't feel any kind of comparison when I see other people succeeding in life in their ways. Okay, so this is the source of the basic place in myself that what brings a person to kina. The really thing that brings me to kina is a lack of self-esteem, a lack of believing in myself. So how does a person gain self-esteem? And how does a person gain self-esteem? The secret to self-esteem is that what gives me value? Is the thing that gives me value my accomplishments? Is the thing that gives me value my possessions? Is the thing that gives me value my external things that I receive? Or is the thing that gives me value my essence? And this is a critical thing. This is the critical thing in life, that a Jew needs to know that I have value just because of my soul. Just because that Hashem puts me in this world, that itself is His signing on the dotted line that He needs me, therefore I am valuable. So I have no right to disagree with Him. I have no right to say that Hashem, you can do without me, the world can do without me, I'm just a failure, I'm just a nothing. And that Hashem put me here, that means by definition that there's something that only I can do in this world, that the world would not be the same without me, and that is my value. So it's not about how much money I make, it's not how many friends I have, it's not how many likes my posts get. It's just about that I exist because God gave me a soul. That means that I have value. Okay? So to know that I have value because of my soul, because of who I am, not because of what I did. So this is really a game changer. And because I look at myself as a valuable person, so then when I see other people succeed, there's no feeling that it's not in my face that I'm an unvaluable person. It's not in my face that I'm a failure. So because I don't give myself value based on how successful I was, I give myself value based on what I am, who I am. I don't mean what I am in the sense of I'm a doctor, just what I am. That I'm a divine soul. So I by definition have value. Because I by definition have value, so I'm never going to feel inferior because somebody else is having success. Okay, so this is the first step. This is the first way that we're able to eradicate ourselves from this first case of sinah, this first case of hatred, the sinah that comes from kina, the hatred that comes from inferiority. Okay, so meaning when we have jealousy, just remind yourselves, why am I feeling jealous? I'm feeling jealousy because I'm feeling inferiority. If I'm feeling inferiority, that means that I don't believe that I have value. If I would believe in my own value, I wouldn't feel inferior. Okay. Now, number two. So we said that the reason why I hate people is because I feel superior to them. Okay, and this is why we hate the people that don't that aren't fans of the same sports teams as us, and this is why we hate the people that don't daven in the same shuls as us, and this is why we hate the people that don't wear the same kind of kippahs as us, and this is why we have there's all these different kinds of hatreds. So what is the opposite? What is the opposite response to hatred that comes from a feeling of superiority? So the opposite of the appropriate response when I feel better than somebody is not to hate them because I feel threatened by them, rather to feel compassion. Okay? So the best way, the appropriate way to when I see somebody that's really that I look at myself as really better than them, because that if we take the case of the Talmid Chacham that hates the Am Haaretz, he hates the Am Haaretz because he feels that actually I accomplished something that you didn't accomplish, and you're going to present to the world that there's no value to having accomplished what I accomplished, and that's going to threaten my superiority. So if I would look at them with compassion, so then I would have no need to hate them. Meaning, for some reason, we have this human need to categorize people. We have this need that when we have people that are different than us, so that until I put them into a box, so I look at them as competition. And because I look at them as competition, so then I look at them as a threat. So I need to put them into some other box besides competition. So the best way to put them into competition is that to put them in the box of compassion. Okay? And this is something, and this is an amazing tool. Rabbi Nachman talks about that this is a way to take away. He's talking about anger, but it's really all the same. When somebody is angering you, so why are they angering you? Because they believe in something, because they represent something, because they're in some way a threat to you, and so therefore you hate them. And he says that trade that with compassion, and by trading with compassion, so then it takes away the anger. So I'm saying that in this very same manner, so by putting the compassion there, so it takes away the hatred. And this is something that I literally just had this morning, that there was this crazy guy that came into davening, and he was he's not 90%. He's like 40 or 50%, and so we're all davening Shemona Esrei. So nobody was. So and nobody was talking. There was no one to talk to, and he didn't like that we were davening Shemona Esrei, and he says, "Tzedakah, taviu tzedakah. Mi shelo holech tonei tzedakah holech legehenom." And yeah, okay, so my first, and he doesn't stop talking. And he's bothering us all. He's bothering us all, and I'm getting annoyed, and I'm feeling this hatred towards him. And so then I thought to myself that, wow, I'm so lucky that I'm not like that. It's such I feel so blessed that I don't bother people like that, and that I do respect other people's space, and that I have emotional intelligence, and wow, we should whenever we have people that are just annoying people, and this is also the solution to the fourth category of the people that annoy us. The people that annoy us, we said that's a higher level. That's not the Beis Mikdash is not being destroyed because we hate the people that annoy us. But how should we overcome that? The way to overcome that is to put compassion, is to bring ourselves to compassion. That it's really so sad. It's so sad that this person feels this need to give me these snide remarks all the time. And by replacing the hatred with compassion, so then I have no need to have this detest, to have this disgust with them. Yeah.
With that story from this morning, you touched on having compassion for oneself is the prerequisite. It makes it way easier because you thought of a thought, but it came from, hey, let me have compassion on me. I could be like that. He's bothering me. I could be having a hard time with this guy. And, it's okay. I don't have to be that guy.
I'm not saying compassion on myself. I'm saying compassion on him. I'm saying appreciation of the fact.
Same way, if you don't have love for yourself, if you have hatred for yourself, you're going to hate another. When you have compassion on yourself, it helps in having being able to forgive, to give
Mhm.
him compassion too.
Yeah, fair. Okay, that's very true. If a person doesn't have compassion on themselves,
Yeah.
it's going to be more difficult to have compassion on other people because, like, why do they deserve it more than me?
Like,
No.
I'm not mad at him.
Mhm.
I could be that guy too. You know.
So really the second way of escaping the hatred. There's a hatred that comes from feeling of superiority, and so when we actually feel superiority to somebody, so the way to fix this is by switching it with compassion and just having appreciation of the fact that it's so sad that they are in this situation, that maybe like you said, like I could have also been that guy. I'm so lucky that I'm not that guy. I'm so lucky that Hashem granted me this social intelligence, that I'm not like that guy, and therefore from the place of compassion, so naturally I don't have hatred towards them. Now, the common denominator between these two things is that the hatred, both of inferiority and from superiority, they both come from comparison. Okay, and so on this note, so I want to reference a beautiful line in one of the stories of Rabbi Nachman of Breslov. That Rabbi Nachman has a story called the Masah Michacham B'Tam, and so he says that there's this part of the story that there's the simple shoeman, a shoe fixer, a shoemaker, and so he's not so good at his job. And because he's not so good at his job, so he has so the shoes they make are very inferior shoes. So because they're inferior shoes, so he sells them for a very cheap price. And so one day he's telling his wife how happy he is with his lot and how beautiful shoes are, how much he loves the shoes. And his wife says, "Well, if your shoes are so good, so how come you only take 2.5 shillings and everybody else takes 5 shillings?" So he answers two things. He answers that first of all, I don't understand what's your problem. That I spend this much on this, this much on this, this much on this, and so at the end of the day, I make profit. So that's awesome. And besides, why should we talk about other people? So it's very, very amazing how Rabbi Nachman talks about these two responses. This is over here. We're talking about the feeling of kinah. It's going into the feeling of I feel inferior to this person. Therefore, I'm going to be jealous of them. Therefore, I'm going to hate them. And so he gives two responses to this feeling of kinah. The first response is that first of all that I make good profit. First of all, I make good profit. That like it doesn't. Why should it make a difference? That this is the first thing that we said. That to understand that just because somebody else has a better life doesn't mean that he's more important than me. Okay, that the world needs the CEOs and the world needs the secretaries, and like everybody has their place. I'm important as a secretary. I'm important as a cashier. I'm important that the world needs me, so I can feel satisfied with my place. Okay, this is the first thing. This is the first thing about just feeling a self-worth. If I feel a self-worth, then I don't feel that you're imposing on me the fact that you have the success. Like if I look at myself as a failure, so then every time that somebody gets ahead of me, so then I feel like, oh my gosh, you're like really rubbing in that I'm a failure. But if I feel like I have worth, so then every time that somebody has success, that doesn't feel like it's in my face. But then he says the second thing, and this is relevant to both parts. Why should we talk about other people? Okay, over here, Rabbi Nachman is saying that it's not just about the fact that I have worth. It's that what in the world? There's no such thing as comparing other people. There's no such thing as that. Like, where are you on the race? That my world is just me. That there is nothing in the world besides my reality. What does it mean? I'm better than you. I'm worse than you. That we are all our own existence, and this is actually such a healthy way to learn, to live. This is it's so relieving when I stop comparing myself to other people. Whether I'm not better than them, I'm only racing myself. My only comparison should be that am I a little bit better than I was yesterday, And even if I'm not, so I can still have compassion on myself. But there is no I'm better than you, that I'm worse than you, that there is nothing else. There is no competition. And this is really the truth. The truth of the matter is that in our mission in life, so the only thing that Hashem cares about is how much did we live up to our own potential? How much do we live up to what we were supposed to do? And so if that's the only thing that God cares about, so who are we to think otherwise? And so this is really the thing that relieves us, that frees us from ego, is the stop comparing ourselves to other people, to stop thinking that we're in some kind of race, and that the only thing that matters is how I stand before Hashem. And this is something that it's not easy, because part of life is living as a community. Part of life is that we're all in this together, we're all working together towards a common goal. But it's important to remember that I also have my inner life, that it's also true that the only thing that matters is just me and God, and there is nothing else. And this is it's a paradox. It's a paradox of life, and it's necessary to develop this second consciousness, that I have my safe space, that in which I'm able to return to this consciousness that there is nothing else besides me and Hashem, and the only thing that I'm comparing myself to is how much I've succeeded with my own potential, and this is really the ultimate way to free ourselves from our ego, and this is the way to free ourselves from the different comparisons, and this is the way to free ourselves, and this is really what the month of Tammuz is all about, that to free our eyes from the perspective of competition, to free our perspective from this feeling that there's any kind of race, and to realize that the only thing that matters is that how am I doing with my relationship with Hashem. This is really the first step in getting rid of this sinat chinam, and this is really this once we are able to free ourselves from the sinah, so then we were able to come to Ava, and that the Ava is the unity, and this is really the greatest thing that we need in order to bring the Geula is to unite. So really the breaking ourselves from the sinah is the necessary tool in becoming one, because we can't become one with the people that we hate. So the way that we let go of the hatred is to realize that I'm all by myself. So it's a paradoxical thing. It's so awesome. Like once there's nothing besides me, so then I can just connect with all the other nothing else besides you, and like because there's no more competition, and we're just all in this together, and it's a very beautiful way of uniting with the entire universe. B'ezrat Hashem.
Interesting. Wow.